Alright folks, it's another episode of America's Hometown Horror, and tonight's episode is brought to you by Clark's yet again. In case you haven't heard, Clark's story began almost 200 years ago when Cyrus and James Clark made a slipper from sheepskin. At the time, it was groundbreaking, a combination of invention and craftsmanship that's remained at the heart of what Clark's does. From the very beginning, Clark's has always thought differently. Brilliant ideas are what set Clark's apart. We, America's Hometown Horror, are teaming up with Clark's and Podgo to bring you up to 30% off on select items, including the iconic Clark Desert Boot, which I own myself. You can do that by going to podgo.co/Clarks. That's podgo.co/Clarks. podgo.co/Clarks. Go get yourself some shoes and treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
What is up, and what is going on, and welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. We always appreciate you listening. My name is Mike, I am your host, and as always, I am joined in studio by my fellow co-hosts, Kat and Andrew. Hey you guys, what's going on?
Hey, not much.
What's up, guys? I missed last episode.
I know,
so
we missed
back.
you last week. We missed you. Happy to have you back, my friend. What's been going on with you in the last couple of weeks? I know work got picked back up, and so you're in the full swing of that.
Spring is sprung, although it still feels like winter out right now, but it's here. It's creeping in.
I know.
You can feel it. The days are getting longer.
Nothing.
Patty's Day is right around
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Or
Nothing
whatever.
like a nice 18-degree day to make you feel like spring is on the way like it was yesterday.
Nothing like getting sick after it being 60 degrees one day and then the next day it's 30 below. You're
I know.
like, oh my God.
I know. Kat, we did Newport for a few days. Pretty fun. Had a good time.
We had a blast.
Yeah, a lot of fun. That was good. Good little weekend. Weather was nice down there, and definitely was a rude awakening to come home in such cold weather. But we're not here to talk about the weather. Thank God. A weather podcast, I can't imagine would be very fun to listen to.
I know what we're here to talk about.
Yes, that's correct.
The Patriots now.
The Patriots and all the crazy stuff they've been doing. But no, we're here to talk about a wee little movie called Grabbers. Because as you mentioned, it is St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, or today as of this listening. And Grabbers is a nice Irish horror movie that we had a chance to check out last night. All three of us watched it together. Had a pretty good time. But we'll get to that.
I'm offended by that stereotypical
I know.
accent.
No. We're Irish. We can do that.
I know.
Exactly.
I'm not offended. It's a joke.
We're Irish. We can have Irish accents if we want.
Andrew, you watched anything cool over the last couple of weeks that you want to talk about?
I watched one movie. I don't know if I would consider it horror. It's definitely a sci-fi monster movie, though. So
I've seen this on horror websites, so I think you can qualify this.
It's a Russian movie called Sputnik, and I don't want to spoil it because I feel like it's fairly new. But it's an alien movie. Couple cosmonauts come back from a mission to space, and they have some sort of alien encounter, and you don't know really what happens. So basically, the whole movie is just like they get to the monster pretty quick, though, in it, which is nice. There's a lot of I feel like the effects were really well done. It was a really interesting concept for a movie. It wasn't necessarily scary, but it was just, I think it was a generally well-done sci-fi alien-type movie with a different kind of twist to it.
Okay.
So I would highly recommend watching it if you haven't seen it. I think it's on Hulu or HBO Max, one of those two.
I think it's on Hulu.
Yeah, it's Hulu, but I don't know if it was on HBO Max.
It might
I
have
have
been.
that on there.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'm not sure.
Sputnik.
Seems like it might be a nice double feature with the movie that we're going to talk about tonight.
Oh, yes. This wasn't a comedy of sorts, though.
Yes, the Grabbers is much more of a comedy, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Actually, a very funny movie, I thought.
Yeah.
But, so I'm trying to think of what we've been watching, too. Not a whole lot. One thing I can talk about, I know we kind of talked about it a little bit last night, but there's this show on Amazon Prime. It's a Prime exclusive. It's called Tell Me Your Secrets that we've been watching. It is a blatant True Detective ripoff.
I wouldn't even go that far. I mean, I guess the premises, but
It's a
Spaghetti
crime.
monster?
It's a crime
No,
story.
there's no
green-eared spaghetti monster, unfortunately, but it's a dark noir crime story that takes place in Louisiana in the New Orleans area that surrounds murdered sex workers and abused children.
Murder.
So it's
got a
definitely got
vibe.
some of those same vibes, but nothing is on the level of True Detective Season 1, and this certainly is not. It's decent. The acting, I would say, is the strong point. It's got Lily Robb if that's how you pronounce her last name. She's been in a bunch of American Horror Story
Rabe?
seasons. Rabe,
Like
perhaps.
broccoli rabbit.
Yeah. Amy Brenneman, who was in The Leftovers. If I know, Kat, we watched that for a little bit.
She's good. I actually
she's
really
actually
like
good.
her.
Yeah.
There's
And then,
never any leftovers when you have broccoli Rob.
No.
Broccoli Rabe. And then probably the creepiest performance in the whole show is from Hamish Linklater, who's one of those guys. Like when you see him, you kind of he's that guy. I know what he's from. He was in The Big Short. Couple other random things.
I mean, his name's Hamish Linklater.
Yeah,
sounds like a
very
monster.
unique name, but he plays such a creep in this show.
And there's the guy from Nashville.
I didn't
I know
see.
you don't know, but it's what's her face's leftovers husband.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm pretty sure
okay.
there's a lot of people from Nashville, so I'm not too sure what you mean.
No, the show Nashville.
I know what you mean.
Yes.
You said you didn't know what I meant.
No, I meant Nashville in general. Like,
Yeah. But if you, I would say if you have, this is one of those shows where it's 10 episodes. We have 2 left. It could probably be 6. There's a lot of filler. It's good at this point. Like I definitely want to see how it ends.
It's on Amazon?
It's on Amazon Prime. Tell Me Your Secrets, it's called. So I'd recommend checking it out. We'll get back to that next week when we see how it ends for, I guess, a full review. But it's decent.
I'll wait till you finish it before I start, because if it ends with a fucking thud, I'm not going to waste my time.
I think it's already going to be a thud.
Yeah.
I'm not really into it. It's
Yeah.
a
I don't really.
I thought the trailer looked pretty
any
good.
Of my
I picked
decisions
it.
on watching anything off of what
Of
you
what
like.
I want, I know.
Yeah, so I'll
That's
go with
fine.
Mike's opinion.
All
on
right.
that.
So
Sorry,
there
no
is a
offense.
new
Fair enough.
horror movie that just came out on Netflix that is getting pretty good reviews. Remember American Vandal?
Yes.
Loved that
The
fucking
penises?
show. Yes, who drew the dicks?
Oh yeah.
Who did the dicks?
They're doing
Did you
another
ever watch
show?
American Vandal?
I actually have not.
It's fucking hilarious. It's so funny. Both seasons are on Netflix, and it's like it came out like right after Making a Murderer. And it's kind of like a mockumentary,
I know what
like
the
comedy.
premise is, but I never
so
watch it, and everyone's like, "You need to watch it."
It's funny,
funny.
dude,
And I
Andrew.
just-
funny.
You'd like it. It's
I gotta
really
give that
funny.
a go because I'm sick of
Yeah.
watching Seinfeld
It's really
for the 500th
sarcastic.
time. So
Yeah, it's
But
sarcastic.
my point being, I guess, so the guy or the team that directed both seasons of American Vandal directed this new movie on Netflix that is a horror psychological thriller movie called The Block Island Sound. That's supposed to be pretty good, so I'm definitely going to watch that between now and the next time we record.
I like the sound of that movie.
Yeah. It looks interesting. The trailer's pretty cool. It's on
Block
Netflix,
Island
right?
sound.
The Block Island Sound.
That's in Rhode Island.
Exactly.
I've been to. Have you ever been to Block
No,
Island?
I was
No,
gonna say-
I actually
I
haven't.
went there when I was younger. We did some bike riding and,
Yeah.
and took some
Is it-
delicious foods.
Kind of like the Vineyard.
I
way?
vaguely remember it, and I have been to the Vineyard. I don't remember going there though, so I assume it's similar though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I lived in Newport for 4 years. Kat lived in Newport for a couple years, and I actually never have been to Block Island. But
I didn't even know you guys lived in Newport.
yeah. Want to talk
I
a
know
couple?
I was with such highbrow individuals.
Oh well,
trust me.
I went to school there, so it's kind of like
What
I
school?
lived there, Salve Regina University.
Salve Regina.
Yes, that's what sloppy vagina used to be one of the nicknames for it that people used to say. One
I like
of the
it.
Yeah, and I didn't live with Mike though at that time because it was after he graduated, and
Yeah.
I was still in Newport with like. some of my
because she went to Roger Williams, so she moved to Newport after that.
You went
But-
to a zoo?
I worked at.
You know what? That makes sense.
It kind of it kind of was a zoo.
Wait, that's a school too? Roger Williams School?
Oh yeah.
No, I just thought
Roger,
that was a zoo.
Yeah,
It's
Roger
both.
Dodger Daycare.
Yeah, he's big in Rhode Island. Big
He
Rhode Island.
He was
guy.
cast out of Massachusetts, so
Yeah.
gotta go somewhere.
Hey, so I got a couple quick news items if you guys are interested.
Always.
Some quick ones. Don't worry, Kat. Won't be
Yep,
long.
go ahead.
So, does the name Ronald DeFeo mean anything to either of you
It
guys?
sounds familiar.
Okay. Andrew?
I mean, the name Ronald reminds me of
McDonald's.
Not,
Yeah.
not McDonald.
I was waiting for you to say.
So Ronald
McDonald.
Butch DeFeo died yesterday in prison at the age of 69. Now, the reason that name might sound familiar to you is that back in 1974, he murdered his parents and his 4 siblings with a high-powered pump-action rifle in his home.
Wow.
And he pled insanity to these crimes, and he said that voices in his house at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amity, New York, Amityville, told him to murder his entire family. And the next family that bought the house, a family by the name of Lutz, George and Kathy Lutz, bought the house, moved in, and fled in terror 28 days later. No reference to the 28 Days Later movie, just happens to be a coincidence. And that story was the inspiration for the Amityville Horror, the book, and then the movie that came out with James Brolin, Josh Brolin's dad, and Margot Kidder in, I believe, 1979. The Amityville Horror is the scariest book that I've ever read in my life. And obviously there are many claims debunking its accuracy and that it's all fake. I would like to believe that some of it is true.
Real if these are both real events.
Yeah.
My question in the book, because I don't read,
Same.
did it get into the previous owner's history?
No, so this is all about the family.
So why haven't they made a prequel to the Amityville Horror based off of that guy?
I think they have.
Oh, really?
They might have done something like that. I'm not sure. But, so I read the book. I've seen the movie. You guys see the original movie?
With James
Brolin. I know you've seen the Ryan Reynolds remake. Which is all right, I suppose.
All right? As in all...
You just sit and watch Ryan Reynolds the entire time.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is nice to look at.
He's shirtless in that movie quite a bit. And
but he's no yoked. James Brolin.
Yeah, James Brolin. Well, it's funny because James Brolin looks just like his son.
I think I've seen the original one, too, though.
The original
you probably have. It's on Shudder right now, I think. So maybe we can go back and watch that and cover that in a future episode. I'd like to talk about that movie. It's
actually
good.
Not a bad idea.
So yeah, the killer that basically indirectly led to the events of the Amityville Horror dies in prison at age 69. I guess he tried to get on parole a few times. He changed his story a few times.
And they were like, nah.
Yeah, and they were like, nah, you stay in prison. You stay in prison.
I wonder if he intentionally died at 69 and be like, hey, I died, I was 69.
Hey, so last news item here. I have an update. Did you guys know that they were making a sequel, another sequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? You hear about this?
No.
So like a tentacle?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, exactly. But this one's a little bit different. So this one, I guess, is going to be produced by Fede Alvarez, who did the remake of Evil Dead, which was awesome.
Better than the original.
And he also did Don't Breathe, which is also
fucking love
awesome.
that movie. All I gotta say is turkey baster.
Yeah, turkey baster. You'll never look at a turkey baster the same way ever again.
Right.
Great, both awesome movies. So he's, pretty good producer, director. I'm on board. But here's the little wrinkle with this sequel. So they're doing what they did.
I like how you said wrinkle.
Yeah, a little wrinkle.
Little wrinkle.
Yeah, I like
it.
Wrinkle in
time. So, remember what they did back in 2018 with the new Halloween movie where they basically ignored all the sequels and made it a direct sequel to the first movie?
I like it.
That's what they're doing with this.
Even better.
And Fede Alvarez, I guess, was on a podcast that was part of the Bloody Disgusting Network earlier this week, and he said, basically, this is going to feature Old Man Leatherface.
Old Man Leatherface.
Yeah. Kind of interesting.
Old man.
So I have one question: is Jessica Biel going to make an appearance?
I think Jessica Biel is not scheduled to make an appearance. So I ask you, good idea or bad for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel?
2 thumbs, way the fuck up.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm digging this trend of ignoring shitty sequels and doing sequels to the best movie, which is what they did with Halloween.
Why wouldn't you ignore those shitty sequels?
Yeah, because
Shitty Walk.
Yeah, Shitty Walk.
Shitty Walk.
Because I know there was talk about this, for another example of this, there was talk for a long time that Neil Blomkamp, who did District 9, Chappie, what's the other movie he did with Matt Damon that was awesome? Elysium. There was talk that he was going to direct a sequel to Alien and Aliens that ignored Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. Oh. So basically it was going to pick up directly after Aliens and still have Newt and Hicks alive, and they were going to bring back Sigourney Weaver and do all this kind of crazy looking... There was concept art that was released for it, but I guess Ridley Scott, because he wanted to do Prometheus and Alien Covenant, he said, fuck you, I want to do my own thing.
Unpopular opinion, I love those fucking movies. The Prometheus, Alien Covenant.
Prometheus was good, and I actually really liked Alien Covenant. I think Alien Covenant gets a bad rap.
I thought that was one of the scariest the Xenomorph's been.
In Covenant?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they had the neomorph, like the white one that was like translucent and weird.
I thought those movies were awesome. I don't know why people
really
fucking hate them so much. Why are they hating on it?
I don't know. I guess
it's not Alien.
It's not. Nothing's
bunch of fucking fanboys.
Yeah, nothing's going to be Alien.
Just side note, when you say Prometheus, I think Bob.
Prometheus and Bob from Kablam. That was a great little stop motion animation.
Kablam!
Kablam, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, Prometheus.
Prometheus and Bob.
I guarantee you there's like 1% of people listening that know what the fuck we're talking about.
Oh, I bet you there's more.
They're like, what the fuck is Kablam?
If you're a 90s Nickelodeon kid, you remember Kablam from Snick.
Oh, yeah.
Kablam leading into Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I mean, you're probably true because 1% of 10 is like 1.
Well, dude, there was nothing better than like on a Saturday night, obviously, before you were of drinking age, that you could sit down and watch Keenan and Kel, all that, Kablam, and then Are You Afraid of the Dark? Well, Snick was the name of the programming block that it was all in.
The program.
Yes, the programs.
The TV program.
You can't say that word.
What?
You can't say that word.
Snick.
sounds bad.
Saturday night.
I don't like that word. It's like moist. Snick. It sounds like it should be banned from like the language. Like, oh, that's a slur. Don't say snick.
Yeah, Cat hates moist. But so the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Canceled.
Yeah. So and by the way, that Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel is tentatively titled just Texas Chainsaw, which. I don't like the name.
So there's no massacre then?
No massacre.
It's just about his love for the chainsaw.
It's about a chainsaw in Texas.
I love this chainsaw.
I'd be down.
Yeah, I'm interested.
I'm always down for people getting murdered terribly.
I'm down like a clown, Charlie Brown.
And obviously we did an episode on the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Go back and give that a listen if you haven't done so already. All right, you guys. Ready to talk about grabbers?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so... Grabbers, I guess I should probably give a little bit of a plot synopsis for this one, since it is a kind of, I would say, not a widely known movie.
I had never heard.
Maybe there's more people that have seen this than I realized, but this came out in 2012, and it is a Irish horror movie. And in the vein of St. Patrick's Day, we felt the need to cover something Irish because we're Irish, and we wanted to do a little something special.
We thought about doing a little leprechaun,
but
we feel like that's a little too mainstream.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation. So I says to Andrew and Kat, I says, we should pick an Irish horror movie. So we talked about Leprechaun, we talked about Grabbers, we talked about a couple other movies, and ultimately we decided on Grabbers for this week's episode.
Saying, Grabbers!
Aye, indeed.
Grabbers!
Grabbers!
I hardly know her.
Exactly. But basically this movie it's kind of like an alien invasion movie where this slithery tentacle monster crashes into the ocean off the coast of Ireland from outer space and starts to slowly take over this sleepy seaside Irish resort town in the off-season. And it's about two police officers that are trying to hunt the monster, save the town, and they come to realize that the only way that you are immune from bites to this monster is to get completely shit-faced drunk. Which is an awesome premise for a fucking movie.
This is one of those movies where none of us would be dead.
Right.
Yeah.
We would have been alive the whole time.
I know.
Yeah.
We'd have a good time blending it with that.
We'd be giving our ideas, and they'd be like, you're drunk, shut up. And I'd be like, I'm alive.
Yeah.
And you know what, actually, we should recommend to our listeners to watch this with the subtitles on.
Yes, we did throw the subtitles on. If you
sorry?
If you have a tough time...
Andrew,
Yeah, I know, you called it. Yeah.
Andrew
we watched it for about 20 minutes, and then I said, wait, let's pause for a second. I said, Andrew, should we throw the subtitles on for this? You were like, oh, yeah.
You
absolutely.
get way more out of it than... I feel like then I'm actually engaged.
I feel like the only time I read is when it's subtitles.
Yeah, Andrew Byers.
I gotta get my vocab somewhere.
Huge subtitles guy. Huge subtitles guy.
I don't read books. I watch movies and read the book at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like perfect.
So, Andrew, you've been away for a week. I will ask you, what did you think of this movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? What are your thoughts, my friend?
I thought it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It's up there with, in my opinion, Tremors, Gremlins. Like, those movies are classics. Yeah. This movie obviously isn't a classic. I just feel like it probably didn't get marketed correctly.
It didn't get the credit it kind of deserves.
I mean, it's a really good, silly, funny monster. It's not terribly violent at all, really.
No.
Like, I feel like I laugh when people... Like, it's one of those movies where you're laughing when they're dying.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
So it's like, if you can make someone laugh when someone's getting killed, I think you've hit the perfect note of that
sweet spot.
That horror comedy.
Yeah.
Like it's like Krampus.
It's tough to pull off the horror comedy blend, and I think they did a good job with that.
Yeah, I think it's up there with Tremors. And I love Tremors. Kevin
Tremors
Bacon's
great.
phenomenal. That movie's fucking stupid as shit. But
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
So speaking of Tremors, I saw this today, actually. I guess Kevin Bacon is in a new commercial.
I saw that commercial.
12 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, and the last part of it is him and the other guy from Tremors, like acting as their characters from the first Tremors movie. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it was actually kind of cool. I wish they kind of did more more of that, but
I lied. I haven't seen that commercial.
No,
I actually saw something. I was scrolling through Facebook, and it was some Kevin Bacon fucking Facebook video where he was making popcorn to watch a movie with his family. And he's like, we're going to watch a movie that starts with F tonight. And it was like Footloose and all those stupid other fucking Kevin Bacon movies. And I couldn't help but think, this makes me hate you because you just seem like the worst type of person. Like,
let's watch my movies.
You're bothering me.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if you're making popcorn in a wok. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Walk corn or something. He's
Walk corn.
He probably didn't say that. I probably said that. But either way,
awesome.
it was
Popcorn.
fucking stupid. And I don't care, Kevin Bacon. I like your name. I like
You like bacon.
a few of your Footloose, I don't really give two fucks about that movie.
I like him in Hollow Man.
Hollow Man's good.
Hollow
movie.
Man's solid. I liked him in this other movie called, I think it was Death Sentence. Terribly reviewed movie. Terrible.
That's the one where somebody kills his son. He goes on,
and he
like,
just
a
turns into like a
rampage.
badass.
Yeah.
I kind of like that movie because I like that premise for a movie. It gets terrible reviews. It probably wasn't well done.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I actually really like Kevin Bacon in The Following, which was a
I was gonna say
cheesy
that
Fox
too.
show.
I haven't seen
that.
that
That
show.
was so
It was good. It was definitely cheesy, like network cable TV, but it was good. I actually liked it. Where Kevin Bacon is basically hunting this serial killer that kills. His kills are based on the stories of Edgar Allan Poe. So it's very dark
it's
and
very
gothic.
cool.
It's cool.
If that wasn't done by Fox, I'd probably.
I know that should have been a Netflix show or like a fucking.
Why don't they do they ever? Have they ever redone a show like they? I mean, obviously they have Hawaii Five-0 and those type of shows. Like they've redone shows, but like a remake of a show, is that like a thing?
I mean, I don't know.
It could be.
Why not?
Yeah, what did you think of Grabbers?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And it was funny because, like, how you said, we kind of went into this, we were just like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, what seasonal, like, St. Patrick's Day movie should we pick? And we all kind of watched this trailer and kind of laughed. And I was like, I've never seen that movie. I've never even heard of that movie. And I was like, yeah, we should definitely, like, we all kind of were like, yeah, we should do that. And it was totally lived up to more than my expectations because I think we all went into it completely blind.
Yeah, I knew almost nothing about it. I just knew it was an Irish horror movie about, tentacle monsters.
You know what's funny about that, too? So I finished that movie completely blind because I'm going to level with everyone here. Barely remember what I was watching last night. I didn't.
You were also on your phone the entire time, which doesn't help.
I know. I was doing stuff.
Doing stuff.
Working.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to work.
All right.
I remember the movie though. I liked the movie,
You
but I don't remember I don't remember people's names. I don't like.
That's
I just
fine.
remember it being because it's like
Yeah.
Tremors. If you ask me anybody's name in Tremors, no fucking idea because it's not a serious movie. So if it's not a serious movie, I don't take it seriously. I watch it as enjoyment.
They were good. They were good characters, though, which is a difference.
Well acted.
Well acted. They're all very funny. So you like this movie?
Oh, absolutely.
Fan?
Yes,
Okay.
big fan. I tell other people it's a nice seasonal like Irish.
Well, because you
horror.
only got like a few. We got Leprechaun and
Revenge of the Leprechauns.
Yeah, there's all kinds of Leprechaun
every
movies.
Leprechaun movie.
Yeah.
So let's just those all count together.
Yeah.
But like, what else?
There's,
I
there's
saw
a movie
this
called
other-
Shrooms. That's an Irish horror movie. There's one that came out recently that's called Sea Fever that we also considered.
Wasn't there one
Sea
Shutter that
Fever.
we saw that said it was called Holidays, so it included St. Patrick's Day, but
Oh,
it
I
was
don't
like
know.
a bunch of different holidays.
Potentially, that sounds like maybe something.
Isn't that like a dramedy?
I don't remember.
Like Love Actually?
I was looking through like seasonal like St. Patrick's Day horror movies, and
Yeah.
that was what I came over something, and I want to say it had like every holiday in it. I was like, oh well, that would be kind of interesting to do at some point anyway. But
Well, I'll make it 3 for 3 here. I'll say that I also really enjoyed this movie. I actually thought it was awesome.
Boring. We all like
just,
it.
It was just
Yeah.
a fun movie, I would say. That's the best way I can describe it. Like you mentioned, Andrew, it kind of strikes that balance of being funny with some, I wouldn't say scary, but some tense moments, some sweet creature effects and scenes. And I thought it was just kind of like an Irish love letter to a lot of different classic horror movies. And some of the references that I noticed, and I'll go over some of these in a little bit more detail later, movies like The Thing, Alien, Slither, which is kind of a more recent one that James Gunn directed.
Not a
I
bad
think
movie.
Gremlins.
Yeah, Gremlins, I had that on here. Predator, even Jaws, or even aspects of like Shaun of the Dead or The World's End.
Yeah.
Like very, very similar themes to some of those movies, kind of borrowing
don't
from
call
those.
it British or English humor, but it is kind of
Like,
Ireland is like essentially
it's kind of its own humor, to be honest.
it is, but it's of that they don't like when you say, "Oh, we're not English, we're Irish." Well, you're essentially pretty fucking close to the same thing.
Watch it, buddy.
really at all.
Watch it, buddy.
Kind of. You're
No.
both on the fucking wrong side of the map.
All right.
I would say that the Irish sense of humor and overall mindset is much more bleak and cynical, I would say, is a good way to
I
describe.
think English humor is so very similar, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't you know?
I mean, in certain ways. I just think that you can definitely tell when something's Irish in certain aspects. And I would say...
because they talk like fucking leprechauns.
Well, that, and also I would say, it kind of has that, like I said, that Irish sense of humor. It kind of deals with some of the stereotypical quote-unquote Irish themes.
Right.
I like their ability...
Like alcoholism.
I like their ability to laugh
Catholic
at
Church
themselves.
a little
I was going to
yeah.
say, one of the, I don't know if we're going to get to like favorite? Are we gonna get to like favorite moments or whatever?
Well, we do have favorite moments with every movie we talk about.
all right,
So
then
yeah,
never mind. I'll wait.
yeah, we can talk about that. We can talk about all that.
Because I did write a couple notes while I watched the movie. Just
Good.
like a couple.
Good.
Not a lot.
And I was a fan of the creature design. I thought they looked pretty cool. I mean, they're
like
not
the Kraken.
not earth shattering or anything like brand new, but they look good.
Scary.
They reminded me of a mixture of the tremors, worms, whatever they were called. What the fuck were they called?
The graboids.
Graboids.
Oh, yeah,
Grabbers and
yeah,
graboids.
there you go.
A mixture of that and like gremlins because they were kind of cute
Yeah.
and like they were like bickering with each other.
Right.
Like they had
Yeah.
like interactions, so they weren't just some slug that had no. It was just some alien slug that didn't have
Yeah.
any. It was like a gremlin, like when they were hanging
That
out.
was one
Yeah.
of my notes.
That was kind of cool. I like that.
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't expecting them to look as good as they did, given the movie that we were watching. I couldn't find any info on the budget, what it actually was. But they look good. It
The
didn't look
budget
cheap.
was like.
Didn't look cheap.
See, here's the thing though, because I looked up the budget and it said 400. It was like in the millions, but
Really?
it was in a different denomination.
Euros.
Right.
Not even
Which is
euros. It
more
wasn't
expensive.
EU. It was like some fucking thing I haven't seen. And then I saw what it overall gross, and it was like it grossed like $454,000.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Wow.
pennies.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if this movie even made money because I don't understand the currency change.
So I did see that it premiered at at Sundance Film Festival, and then it also was at a couple film festivals in Ireland. So it probably was a little bit bigger in obviously in Ireland and the UK than it was in the US. But wow, actually, I'm surprised by that. I'm
No,
surprised
yeah,
by
look
that,
it up
so.
because I feel like that's wrong. It doesn't make any. It was either on IMD or Wiki.
Okay.
I think it was
Yeah,
IMD.
you want to look it up? Okay, you guys want to talk about some other 2012 horror movies briefly here?
Yeah.
I love
Since
2012.
it came out in 2012. So yeah, can you guys guess the other movies that we've covered from this year?
Conjuring,
There's two of them. Nope, we haven't done The Conjuring.
but that was on 2012, right?
That was not 2012, actually. No.
So sorry, time out. The budget was 5.3 million USD,
It's a lot of money.
and they profited $440,000.
Yeah, that can't be right.
That's low, yeah.
No,
How did that movie cost
Yeah.
$5 million to make?
I don't know.
I mean, those aliens.
Well, you
are
got
kinda
to think
scary.
they shot this in Ireland, and you actually commented on the cinematography last night. How beautiful! I feel like you just shoot anything in Ireland, it just looks beautiful with the sea and the rolling hills, and everything's just green.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
perfect
Kat,
for
you've
making
been to
movies.
Ireland,
But
like
they
does this look
Yeah.
like
But
Ireland to
they
you?
didn't travel
Yeah.
there. The movie was made in Ireland
Right.
by Irish people.
It's true, actually. Yeah, it's a good
it's
point.
like me making a movie in Plymouth.
That's
it's not
true.
going to cost me $5 million.
Yeah,
to
that's
do
that's,
that.
a, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
No, it definitely looked like Ireland. Some of the buildings too, like when I went to like Inisheer, which is like this
What the
island
fuck
off
did
of,
they spend all that money on?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe just travel
Maybe-
costs.
Because it was all,
Creatures?
but that was all
Creature
computer animated.
Some of it was, but I feel like the smaller monsters that invaded the pub, like those
I
were
don't
practical.
know.
Those looked practical. I mean, I don't
I mean,
know.
there
Did
a lot of
they?
people,
Okay,
yeah.
so in the opening scene when the alien lands in the ocean,
the
that
boat.
looked like it was. I mean, that could be some money spent, like to get that out of the water if that
Could
was
be.
real.
Yeah, some sort of like
Yeah,
triggered explosion or
lots of
something.
CGI stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, back in 2012 was
That
was
seems
it
like
more
a lot of
expensive
money
to
for
do
that
some
movie
of that stuff,
because,
too?
like, that feels like a movie that should have been made for. It should have been the reverse. The
Yeah.
budget should
made
have been like
400 million and made
450,000.
5. 400,000
Like
and
who
made 5
spent
million.
that? Like it's a good
Yeah.
movie. I don't think it got due just
Yeah.
whatever the word is, but you know.
Yeah.
Who judged you?
So I'll give you the two that we covered from 2012. All right. So
right.
Andrew, one of your favorites, Sinister,
Yep. I was
Sinister?
just gonna say that when you said that.
and one of my favorites, Cabin in the Woods. That fucking movie
That is such a great movie.
rocks. So if you haven't listened to those two episodes yet, go back and check those out. Those were a lot of fun to do.
Hey, you want to feel old real quick?
What's that?
In 1 year,
Yeah,
it'll be 10 years since those movies were made.
that's fucking crazy. That
Yeah.
does make me feel old. Very, very old.
yeah.
A couple other movies that came out in 2012, The Chernobyl Diaries, which was a found footage movie that was,
Terrible.
not that great. John Dies at the End.
Love that.
Good
Have you
movie.
ever seen
Read the
that movie?
book. Yes, and I read the
Yeah,
book
'cause I
recently. The
did
book was
that-
good.
What did you
I
like
did-
better, the book or the movie?
I liked the book because it was a little bit more weird and
Weirder?
a little bit weirder, and you can go into more detail a little bit. So
It was easier to understand what was going on.
a little bit, yeah.
I did the creep of the week thing on his face because he looked like the cover. Remember?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot about that. That movie slaps.
Yeah, it's
like,
a good movie. It's very good.
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti, and that is really I love Paul.
Can we
Giamatti.
erase
He's
the fact
good.
that I just said slaps? Because I didn't mean to
Slaps.
say
You don't want
that.
to say slap on recording.
I mean, I'm fine
Fair
with
enough.
it. I want to reach that younger generation.
Oh my god.
Also in 2012, The Lords of Salem, which is a Rob Zombie movie, and I've not been
Never
shy
s-
about my dislike for Rob Zombie's movies, but I've heard this one is very weird and I guess okay. I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out at some point. The Elijah Wood remake of Maniac. Do you ever see that? Fucked up movie.
Is it called Maniac?
It's called Maniac, and it's basically it's a remake of a movie that came out in the 70s.
Yeah, the one with that weird looking dude, and he has mannequins and he puts the
exactly.
That movie is fucking fucked up.
Yeah, the original
so good.
The
original movie is so good.
Yeah, the original's really good and fucked up, and this one is both of those.
That guy was also in another. It was like an Italian horror movie where he was like a psycho.
Giallo?
He was like a no. It took place in Italy. It wasn't like that style. I don't think. But he was basically a stalker. He was stalking some model in Italy and taking photos of everything. Really well done. That guy is such a creep. I forget his name.
Creepy
but he
dude.
plays like a perfect serial killer, stalker, creep.
Yeah, for sure. Paranormal Activity 4 also came out in 2012. Let's see. Paranorman came out in 2012.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't either, but it's on Netflix right now. It's like a stop-motion animation movie. It actually looks really good, and it just I never saw it, so I'd actually like to check that out. Because I've heard a lot of people say that it's good. We talked about Prometheus earlier. That also came out in 2012. I was a fan of that movie.
Without Bob?
Prometheus without Bob, correct. The first VHS movie came out in 2012, which I have been a huge fan of.
That was actually really... I like
really
VHS
good.
too, yeah.
And The Woman in Black, which stars a post-Harry Potter Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh.
I've actually never seen that movie.
I haven't seen that either.
Andrew, have you?
The Woman in Black?
Yes.
I saw... The original wasn't bad, and then me and Craig went to watch the remake, and the biggest problem was it was way too fucking dark. Like, it was like you couldn't see anything going on.
Like, actually lit.
Like literally dark.
Lit.
Like, it was very strange. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what the name of that movie is that guy was in.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's 2012 in other horror movies besides Grabbers. You guys want to hear some factoids about Grabbers?
Sure.
Okay. There's not a whole hell of a lot here because it's a pretty obscure film, like we've talked about a little bit already, but here's an interesting one. So the writer of this movie, his name is Kevin Lehane, an Irishman, and he got the idea for this movie. Pretty interesting. This is just I love hearing like how people get ideas for these movies. It's a pretty wacky concept for a movie. And he got the idea while he was backpacking across Australia. And I guess he was being bit by mosquitoes, and he heard that there was an urban legend that if you eat Marmite, which is a uniquely Australian thing, it's a vitamin B rich yeast spread.
Like Vegemite?
Vegemite, like Marmite type thing. So basically
Vegemite.
I was going to say,
I think it's Australia. It might be British or both. But I think people spread it on like toast and stuff like that. But essentially, people were telling him that if you eat enough Marmite, it actually will prevent mosquito bites. So he actually just, he kept kind of thinking to himself, okay, so if mosquitoes will avoid me if I eat Marmite, I wonder if a mosquito, if I'm shit-faced, will bite me and they will either get drunk and then hung over from drinking people's blood. So basically that thought kind of stuck with him until he returned home and he wrote the script for Grabbers based on that premise. Like,
that's kind of a great idea.
Get drunk to survive, which is a great idea for a comedic horror movie, I think, for sure. The director of this movie, John Wright, before shooting, he took the two main actors, Richard Coyle, who plays O'Shea, the cop, the alcoholic cop, and Ruth Bradley, who plays Garda Nolan, the other main character. He took them both out drinking, got them drunk, and videotaped them while they were drunk so that they were able to actually pick up some of their mannerisms and quirks while they were drunk so that they could act drunk without actually being drunk in the movie.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. See some creative stuff going on here, which I think makes this movie as good as it is, for sure. Film was actually shot in Ireland during the harshest winter in over 100 years.
Wow.
There were uncharacteristic blizzards, gale force storms, and sub-zero temperatures that regularly hampered production, creating a difficult shoot.
Shit.
That's
which
pretty
makes
good.
it all that much more impressive, if you ask me.
Sometimes there's certain
did.
words that you think you can say in a certain dialect.
And then you can't.
Yours was much better, I think.
know.
I feel like mine's like, hey,
Maybe like I'm slapping the bass.
You can sound a little bit more Jamaican if you do your Irish.
Oh,
I've had lots of practice.
Bacon.
He watches a little too much Derry Girls.
We watch enough Derry Girls to be able to rip off Northern Ireland accents at a quick pace, I would say. So this movie actually was nominated for and won 2 Fangoria Chainsaw Awards in 2014, which is the kind of the award show for horror movies. Fangoria, obviously one of the biggest names in horror entertainment, and they have the magazine. They won for Best Script and Best Creature Design and Special Effects.
That's awesome.
Well deserved, I think. That's what I have for actual facts, but I want to talk about some of the horror references in this movie, which that I noticed, and some of them were on IMDb. And if you guys noticed any more of these, feel free to let me know.
Yes.
First one I noticed, alien. Obviously, it's an alien creature. You have the eggs that hatch and spit shit into people's faces. So basically, the grabbers in this movie share many characteristics with the facehugger from Alien and Aliens and all of the Alien franchise. And the movie also contains a lot of other allusions to Aliens, the sequel, including the recreating that famous scene where Sigourney Weaver is battling the Queen Alien in that mechanical suit, and she says, "Get away from her, you bitch." Except in this movie, Gardner Nolan says,
So good.
"Get away from him, you." She basically,
The appreciation
that's the
of the
British,
Irish
the British and
and
Irish
British-
version of the word, not the American offensive
No, but
version.
they
It's
gi-
what they say.
they give-
So I also noticed a few references to Jaws here. So near the beginning of the film, there's a welcome sign for Erin Island, which is where the movie takes place.
Yes.
And it features a cartoon sun, which is exactly the same one for the holiday sign from Amity Island and Jaws.
Did you
Oh,
pick
I
up on
didn't
that
know that.
yourself, or was that
I
something?
got that from
okay.
IMDb.
I was like, that's
direct
a fucking
rip.
eagle eye.
Direct rip. And also, so I picked up on this one. At the end of the movie, once they've defeated the monster, spoiler alert at this point, obviously, Nolan and O'Shea are walking down the road by themselves, having defeated the monster. And it kind of reminded me of the scene where Brody and Hooper are paddling back to shore after blowing up the shark at the end of Jaws,
Yeah.
like talking to each other a little bit. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit, so definitely some Jaws vibes here. Also got a direct quote from Predator with O'Shea yelling, "Come on, what are you waiting for?" at the Graboid when they're in the construction site. Pretty much the exact line that Arnold yells at the Predator, like, "Kill me, come on, kill me, do it."
Your Arnold is terrible.
I know, Craig can do it so good. I see that's
out
that,
of the
that
way.
One I can't do. That one I can't do. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper, you frigging idiots.
And then a bonus one, Kat, you mentioned Gremlins.
Yes.
With the baby grabbers
That was my-
taking over the first floor of the bar, reminded me exactly of the bar scene in Gremlins.
That was my notes.
Yeah.
My notes.
Yep, good.
I think
Eagle
I
Eye
brought that
Catherine.
up first.
Eagle Eye Catherine. Cool. All right, so before we move on to categories here, just a reminder that today's episode is presented by Clark's. Again, Clark's story began almost 200 years ago when Cyrus and James Clark made a slipper from sheepskin. It was at the time, it was groundbreaking. A combination of invention and craftsmanship that's remained at the heart of what Clark's does. From the very beginning, Clark's has always thought differently. Brilliant ideas are what set Clark's apart. America's Hometown Horror is teaming up with Clark's and Podgo to bring you up to 30% off on select items, including the iconic Clark's Desert Boot, by going to podgo.co/Clark's. That's podgo.co/Clark's. Go get yourself some shoes.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself, treat yourself. All right, categories, my friends. I think we can all answer this pretty easily and definitively here. Is this a scary movie, Andrew?
Absolutely not.
Not at all, Catherine.
No, not at all.
Agreed. Definitely not much more funny, but it does have some tense moments and some, kind of like freaky monster shit. So,
Sure.
some tension, I would say. So,
I think the most scared I was in the beginning when they were on the boat and you didn't know what they were looking at, and then all of a sudden the guy's just in the water, and you just see blood, but you don't know necessarily what happened to him.
right.
So that was probably like the scariest of the entire movie.
Yeah. Oh, and obviously, so one thing I forgot to mention too. So when they're showing the alien spacecraft that the creature arrives in, crashing into the ocean, they show it from outer space
Is it
coming
a spacecraft? Is that
in.
confirmed?
Or a comet?
Could it
or-
be
or
like
an asteroid? Meteor?
So another tie-in to a movie, very old movie, War of the Worlds, when they crashed into
Yep.
the Earth and then.
Yep. That's actually not what I was thinking. I was thinking The Thing.
Oh.
But War of the Worlds too. That's absolutely like War of the
They
Worlds.
were like
Independence
pods.
Day.
Yeah.
Independence Day, they came in huge ships.
Yeah.
And then Will Smith punched aliens.
Mars attacks.
Yes, right. we
Mars attack.
talked about Mars attacks.
All right, so definitely not scary. You could, every kid has their first R-rated movie. I mean, I don't think Grabbers is going to be their first R-rated movie, but I don't think
Was
there's
that
too
movie
much
rated
in
R?
here.
That makes sense.
They say fuck a lot, so
They
I would
say
imagine.
fuck. There's drinking.
Yeah.
Lewd behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
They're
Literally what it says, lewd behavior, probably.
Lewd
That
behavior.
sounds about right.
Andrew, what was your favorite scene in said movie, Grabbers?
I I knew you were going to ask these questions.
I can come back to you if you
And
want.
I knew that I had no answer, regardless of when you come back to me. So instead, I have a new category, and it's called, when I was watching this movie, my mind was kind of going into, I was still watching the movie. Mm-hmm. My mind was going to, like, other types of silly movies you could make like this.
Okay.
And it reminded me of, like, a recent fact I had found out about kangaroos, is that don't ever get in the water with a kangaroo.
Okay.
Kangaroos go in the water in hopes that another animal or something will pursue them, and then they try to drown them.
Really?
As soon as they come in the water.
I did not know that.
So you could have, like, Kanga Jaws or Jaws-a-roo and do, like, a shark, like, where kangaroos are just killing people in the water, like a weird horror movie like that.
Yeah. That would be a weird movie.
Yeah, I would probably...
Yeah.
That should be made by someone from
In
Australia.
yeah,
because
or
that's
New
probably
Zealand.
right up their sense of humor. Something morbid.
So, murder water kangaroos or cocaine bears. Remember we were
Yeah.
talking about that?
I can't wait for that. Yeah.
They're actually making a movie called Cocaine Bears.
my
Did you hear
God.
about
It's
this?
based off a
I
true
didn't hear
story.
about
True
this.
story. So I guess apparently, I don't know where it was, probably in Canada or somewhere. I guess a bear got a hold of a fucking shitload of cocaine and ate it all, and was all coked out and ran around just murdering fucking everyone.
Wow.
So Elizabeth
That's
Banks,
terrifying.
who plays Beth
Yes,
in
I know.
40-Year-Old Virgin, is apparently directing this movie, which makes it all that much more crazy.
Oh, she's directing it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
Cocaine Bear, it's called. Very
Okay.
interesting.
Well,
I'm going to watch the shit out of that movie.
Yeah, me too. I'll watch that. Kat, what was your favorite scene?
okay, so I obviously loved all of the Catholic jokes
Yeah.
throughout the entire thing. The one line that I really liked, that I wrote down because I thought it was really funny, was when they said, like, who was going to be the sacrifice, and they said that the priest
The
could
priest.
be.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was really funny.
Yeah, that was
He
funny.
said because he tastes like he's a piece of shit or something. And
Yeah.
he looks at him, he's like, "Sorry, father." And then like, I actually like the scene where the girl was wicked drunk. I forget her name. The Garda, that's the girl. who's
Nolan.
one of the main the
Yeah.
main character.
Yep.
And she's like super drunk, and she falls down the stairs with like power tools in her hand.
Yeah, that was pretty
And
funny.
I was just like, Jesus Christ! It's like she's just like, it's okay. It's all right, and I was like, I could kind of relate to that, but I loved like the Catholic jokes. I thought they were like really funny throughout the entire thing because
Yeah.
it just
Do you like those
resonates
as
with me
a
a
fake
little bit.
Catholic?
Yeah,
Or, I mean, actually,
Someone who went to
as
Catholic
a
school.
brought up
as a
Catholic.
Catholic.
Brought up Catholic.
Fake Catholic, same difference.
Yeah, raised
Well,
Catholic.
right now I'm a CNE
Same.
Catholic, which is Christmas.
Chris-
Show
and
up
Easter.
for a couple
Yeah.
times a year.
They show up a couple
Samesies.
times a year.
Easter, Christmas.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you've been following the news at all lately, I don't want to get into it too much. Fuck the Catholic Church right now. Fuck you. All right, cool. So yeah, the Catholic jokes were definitely good. What else do you like?
The one is this can it also be disliked or it's / questionable?
Sure.
So
Or
At
actually,
one point-
we do nitpicks. You can save it for
all
nitpicks
right, I'll
if you
save it
want.
for nitpicks. I'll save it for
/
nitpicks.
questionable.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, save it for nitpicks. I'll
Cool.
save it. Saving it.
I personally loved everything when the whole town's in the bar getting shit-faced, and basically they don't know what's going on, and it's just like the bartender's like, free booze, like they go into the church and like, hey, party at the bar tonight, free booze for everybody,
Right.
open bar, and the entire town drinks the bar dry.
But they also have to figure out they have to drink 10 beers, 10
Yeah.
pints
Yeah,
per
10 pints.
person,
10
which
pints
was,
and
I
shots.
mean,
And
even for an Irish, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just, that's a lot
people
of pints.
bringing in homemade hooch to drink and take
well,
shots
that
of.
would be, that's
Yeah.
different than
Pretty
taking,
funny.
But, on top of that, I thought it was funny that, like, the one guy goes outside and he's like, no, he went outside, he only had 2 pints.
Yeah.
Oh, no! Like, he's like,
He's not nearly drunk enough.
he's not nearly drunk enough.
For Christ's sake. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, it was really funny.
I also loved the bartender, whose name was Mar, apparently. I thought it was
yeah.
so fucking awesome when they are basically taking inventory of what weapons they have, and he fucking brings in and slams down on the table a super soaker that he fills with lighter fluid.
Oh my God, yes.
He finally brings it outside, and it's raining, and he sticks like a piece of paper in the tip of it, and he lights it on fire, and he runs out like screaming like ah! And he starts pumping the super soaker at the monster, and the rain puts the fire out, so he's just like, oh shit, and runs back inside.
Yeah,
that
it's
was fucking awesome.
really
I was
funny,
dying
yeah.
laughing. So funny. So yeah, that's what I liked. Anyone have any issues with the cast at all? Actually, like we kind of talked about
No.
already, I
They were
thought
really
they were
good.
the strength of the movie. I thought everybody was
Who
really
was the
good.
old guy? What was his name? Fucking
His name was Patty.
Pat. His
I
name
loved
was
him.
Patty. He was so good. He
More on Patty.
He was the MVP.
later.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More on Patty later.
He's
so.
great.
All right, Kat, nitpicks.
Okay.
Time to go.
This is my nitpick.
Okay.
The one and only nitpick. Which I remember even flipping out when I watched this because I was just like, this is insane. But there's a fire on the first floor of the bar. They tell everyone to go up. Well, they tell everyone to go upstairs because the little grabbers are coming in. So they go upstairs, shut the door, and then they start a fire. Or she starts a fire because she's whatever.
I'll tell you right now, we
downstairs.
didn't start the fire.
Yeah. Thanks. All right, that's fine.
Billy Joel.
I know. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks for that.
I gotta bring something to this.
No. So she started the fire on the first floor, and like they open the door on the second floor, and they can see down the stairs, and there's a raging fire down at the bottom of the stairs. And how did they get out? They're all miraculously made it out there. What, did they jump from the second story?
Yeah,
Was there a second
I don't know. That's a good
exit?
question.
Like, how did they get out of there? Because if you're on the second floor and the first floor is burnt, you're kind of screwed.
The cabin,
Maybe there was a
burned.
back staircase or like a fire escape.
Maybe, but they don't.
You're
say
not
that.
supposed to worry about that.
That's a nitpick. That's a nitpick for me.
That's
because
like
I'm
an extreme nitpick.
Picking nits.
No, it's not.
It's a fucking stupid, funny horror movie. You don't think about that.
I think
But
about
we talk
that.
about stupid, funny
We
horror
do.
movies quite often, and we have to
So
pick
I'm glad
nits
you have
about them. Yes.
glad you have a pick of a nit.
Yeah, that was my nitpick.
Okay, cool.
Good one.
I had nothing, I say. Nothing at all.
No nitpicks?
No, nothing. Best death. Would you like me to go first? Mm-hmm. Okay. I thought, so again, I had to look up this character's name. Dr. Gleason. But you probably remember the death.
He was a handsome dude. He was younger, right?
No, that was the British doctor. This is the other doctor.
Okay.
And apparently, I don't know why I said apparently. There's no apparently. But basically, this is the guy when they're in the bar. And I think it's the guy that he only had 2 pints and he goes out there to take a
With
piss
the
outside. No, not the bartender with the super soaker.
okay.
He goes outside to take a piss.
Oh, and the thing...
And all of a sudden,
that was gonna be
you
nice.
see, well, we can both talk about it. That's fine. You see, like, kind of how the whole huge monster moves. It almost kind of looks like it's like rolling a little bit, and
Yeah, it does.
it
kind of
basically
rolls.
it snaps a tentacle at him, grabs him, and then basically gets like above him and just like shoots down and kind of engulfs him, and then it spits out his severed head. That was pretty fucking awesome.
It's kind of like...
It's essentially an octopus.
He shoved
That's
like
how
a-
they move.
He shoved like a whole hot dog in his mouth.
Yeah, pretty much. Whoosh.
Like, I like how in a lot of alien-based movies they use octopus as references
I mean,
because they
yeah.
are... Like, if there was an alien on
Is it-
Earth, it's an octopus.
Is it octopuses or octopi?
Octopi, octofoo, octahoo,
Lots of octopus aliens, from Kang and Kodos and The Simpsons to Arrival. Those are squid-like aliens, grabbers. So there's a lot of them out there.
Grabbers.
I mean, I guess you could argue the alien and the Thing had lots of tentacles and stuff, kind of the same.
You
but
know
they
what
kind of
the
adapt into everything.
scientific name for an octopus is?
What's that?
What?
8 times 3.14.
Pi. 8 times 3.14. I don't know.
Well, 8 octo.
Pi.
I just made that,
That
up.
was
It's terrible.
a terrible joke. it's like, oh my
That's
god.
kind of
I mean,
impressive.
you
You made it
go,
up.
I made that up on the cup.
That's
That's
so bad.
There's room to grow.
You
with
made
that.
that up. You should have kept that to yourself.
I like it. Octopi.
What did Leprechaun say at the vending machine to the guy behind him? Do you have any change? I'm a little short.
What's that joke?
Oh my god.
What's that joke about the leprechaun in the bathroom stall?
I don't know it.
Ah,
Kat, so I know this was your best death as well. What else did you
I
have
mean,
to
that
add
was the
on
first one that I thought of because that was really...
You also had the guy getting pulled up onto the roof and then
Yeah.
his wife getting pulled up through the chimney.
Oh my god, and then they find the head
In the
in the
chimney.
chimney.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty
the
wild.
grabber's not a fan of the heads. They spit the heads out.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought that the girl that got pulled up to the chimney was kind of quick. 'Cause
Yeah, that's a good
that
one.
was like a little tension scenario where you were like waiting because she was trying to close the flute
Yeah.
and didn't get there in
Clearly
time.
didn't get there in time.
So-
Exactly. Andrew, what about you? Anything to add here?
both those deaths were fantastic. I feel like there wasn't that many really good deaths.
Or the one
You get
where
the
they,
three
like,
on the boat
shot the
at the
tentacle
beginning.
right
Yeah, which were
through them.
all
Ooh,
right, but
yeah,
there wasn't
yeah.
that one. Right through the chest. Yeah, that was
that
like
was good.
early on in the movie. Wasn't that the guy in the boat?
It might have been. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. But
Yeah.
there wasn't anything that to me it wasn't the deaths that made this movie stand out. It was just the whole premise of the movie.
Yeah.
Made it stand out. You don't even need death. You could have had basic deaths and I would have been fine. It's not horror. It's not gory enough, but it
Right.
Sure.
was still good.
And it's kind of gory. I mean, you got heads rolling and you got right?
So I think this movie would actually work really well as a haunted attraction, since we always talk about that. I think this could work well if you had some practical effects, and the comedy would actually, I think, would work very well in a haunted house. It could, make you laugh, and then when you're have your guard down, scare you with some sort of...
Here's an idea.
Yes.
Have you ever been to a haunted attraction that takes place on water?
I have
On
not.
water? Oh, like when they play
Like
Jaws.
so you have like the Jaws ride down in Universal.
Right.
So that's
Fantastic.
the closest
And
thing.
then you have like a hay ride. You have your hay ride, but instead of a hay ride, if you got a lake, why not do it on the lake with a boat?
Isn't Jurassic Park right in the water?
Yes,
But
it
this is like a literal haunted attraction, like something you would go to, like at Spooky World or something. Like if you have a lake, like you could do so many different things. That would be
that's
so
definitely- it's
scary.
Something people haven't done a lot. I mean, the only thing I can really think of is I remember a few years back at Halloween Horror Nights, they did a house based on The Walking Dead. They did it a bunch of times, but one particular year there was a scene in The Walking Dead where a bunch of characters are trapped in a flooded basement, and there's these like waterlogged, swollen zombies.
Yeah.
So they just look gross. But there was actually a scene in The Walking Dead house where you were walking through a particular room, and I guess on either side of you, there were like tanks of water that they had actors
That makes
in,
sense.
like
Yeah.
jumping out at you and
Like,
shit.
think
That
of
was
one
kind
of
of
the
cool.
scariest scenes is like in Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
Comes
Right,
out of the
you're
fucking
in the
water.
middle of the
Like
lake.
you could literally find the guy that did that octopus documentary, who just was swimming in like the coldest water ever. Find someone like that, and be like, "Here's a lot of money.
Yeah.
We're gonna have boats come across, hide underneath in the water, and then just fucking pop up. Ah! You're like,
be tough to pull off, but
it'd be tough to pull off,
awesome.
but it'd be
You need
fucking
some scuba gear.
terrifying. No scuba gear. You're in that cold ass
you
water.
need scuba
There's
gear.
people that are accustomed to that. There's people that do it. You just have to pay them. You have to
For
find
like
them
4
and pay them.
hours?
Yeah, this guy used to
What, a
go in.
wetsuit?
Have you seen that documentary?
No.
The guy literally every day for a full year went into the ocean, like his parents. You have to watch it. What a heart wrenching documentary. He became best friends with this octopus,
Oh, I heard about this.
and he was in the
movie.
water for like 10 hours a day with no scuba gear because he realized that the octopus
wanted
he wanted to have a. It was a fucking amazing. So like you could,
Yeah, I heard it
there's
was good.
people like that.
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but I heard it was actually
An
pretty
octopus's garden. No,
No,
It's not-
it's a-
my octopus friend is literally
My
what it's called.
octopus friend. Okay.
My octopus friend.
good. Cool. All right. So water haunted attractions. Somebody needs to make that happen.
That'd be cool.
Faux show. All right. MVP time. Andrew.
Fucking Patty.
Yeah, it's got to be
That guy's
Patty.
the best.
Yeah, same for me. Who's basically the old town drunk, and he's the one that catches the graboid in his lobster trap.
Right.
That's no feckin' lobster.
Yeah.
No feckin' lobster.
That was really funny to watch the subtitles and they say feck.
It's all
instead of
feckin'.
fuck.
Feckin'.
Yeah,
It was pretty
Feckin. Feckin. Yeah, he was a good character.
They won't say fucking, but they'll say cunt.
I think
Feckin'.
I like the girl cop.
Girl Cop was good.
She was good. Nolan.
I
Yeah.
liked her a lot.
Nolan
I think
Arenado?
that her character kind of evolved. Like she was like, the one girl on the island. The guy's like, do I need to have this chick on my side? Like really for 2 weeks or whatever? And
Yeah.
like her character just gets so. I mean, once she gets drunk and like hangs out
Mm.
and is like, a different person kind of. And then at the end when she's like making out with whoever her partner.
But you
or
need
whatever.
that character.
I mean, you need her as like the kind of like soft like.
Oh God, of course. Yeah, she was
lighthearted-
essential to the story.
That's in
Yeah.
every type of movie like that. 30 Days a Night, you have him and his ex.
Right.
You have to have that. You have to.
That-
If there's no romantic involvement, I feel like these movies don't work.
Right.
Because people require that.
Right.
We want some sort of love
You need a
interest.
connection.
Even
A
if
deep
even if
connection,
yeah,
yeah.
you need that.
Well, and as like partners, I'm sure like being police officers together and
Garda.
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 You're with each other all the time.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna form some sort of bond
Of
with
course.
that
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
And yeah.
Cool. Yeah, she was a good character. But yeah, I got to second you, Andrew, on Patty. Patty Barrett was his name, and so obviously some of the best one-liners in the whole movie. "'Tis no feckin' lobster." We already mentioned that. When he's sitting at the bar with what's his name, the main cop. I already forgot it. O'Neill.
do too.
O'Neill, I think. And he says to him, "Right, so between you and me, caught myself a sea monster today. Swear to God, may he strike me down. It's in me bathtub, having a bath."
yeah, right.
He's like, "Fuck."
And everyone looked at him like, "You're hammered."
like okay,
They're all
yeah.
hammered. It's so funny. But yeah, he was a great character. All the characters were actually pretty good. The British doctor was pretty good too. When they, when basically they try to light the the female monster that's dead on fire, and it sets off the sprinklers, so it's wet. And the doctor like picks up the chair, and he's like wielding the chair like a weapon, like he's gonna bash it to death. That's pretty funny.
Well,
too.
and then they tried to bash him to death when he got wet, and then he came back to life a little bit, and they started bashing him again.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they were like complaining at the same time that he would be dead, and like they wouldn't be able to use him for science.
He's
but then they're
dead.
still trying to kill him.
Yeah, another good line by the doctor was, I need a photo. He actually was British, so I can't do the British as well. I need a photo. That's Irish. I need a photo for National Geographic and Facebook.
It's hard to get out of a certain accent.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
tough for a while.
Tough to do. Tough to day indeed. Lady and gentleman, I ask you, is this movie deserving of a sequel? Because I say, hell fucking
yeah. Well, and it even sets itself up at the end.
Yeah, I can't believe it actually hasn't been one, to be honest.
Maybe there will be.
Maybe there will.
Maybe we should make one.
Maybe we should.
It should be called Grabbers. I hardly know her.
Grabbers, I hardly know her.
That's actually pretty good.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Come off it, Andrew.
No one take that, by the by.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna
Copyright. All royalties go to America's Hometown Horror Podcast. All right. Fair enough. So, yeah.
Actually, you could do it in an Irish accent. Grabbers. I hardly know hers.
Grabbers, I hardly know it, for fuck's
Not
sake.
her, hers. You'd have to say hers.
Hers, exactly.
That's how they speak, right?
You gotta have the
You would
same
know.
title.
Can't say that.
All right.
Can't say that.
So I think that means we have come to the end of our categories and the end of our episode, you guys. You guys.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts on Grabbers before we put a bow on this bitch?
I liked it. I'd
The
even
classic
watch it again.
cat line. I liked it.
Maybe
it was good.
I'd watch it again. I thought it
Yeah,
was
maybe
good.
it's a yearly St. Patty's
You know
Day
what?
rewatch.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind it. Yeah, because I feel like I'd pick up on different things too.
Yeah. Andrew, anything
I was just thinking of different options for the title.
for the sequel?
Grab hers, grab yours, grab mine. That might work too.
Grab it.
Grab hers, grab yours, grab mine. Grab a
Yeah.
gun. Yeah, this is a good movie. It's it was on Hulu for a while. It's no longer there, as we found out last night. So you got to rent it, but it's $3.99 on Amazon, Google Play, Apple, wherever you want to rent your movies. It's there. It's there for the taking for some good old St. Patrick's Day horror-ish fun, and I would highly recommend that you check it out. All right, folks, that means we've come to another episode ending of America's Hometown Horror, and here's where you can find us on the following social media platforms, including YouTube and Facebook. Just search America's Hometown Horror. You'll find us. Mash that bell. Subscribe. Notifications will pop up. You can also find us on Twitter. I'll stop. You can find us on Twitter at Hometown Horror. You can also find us on Instagram at Hometown Horror Pod. You can also email us at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com, and you can also listen to our show pretty much wherever you get your episodes, but specifically on Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, and wherever else you may listen to your podcasts. My name is Mike. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all. Sláinte to all. Have a safe and
Sláinte.
have a very
Top
safe.
of the morning to you.
of the
They're
morning
after
to
my
you.
lucky charms.
Say goodbye to your listeners, folks. I've been joined by Kat and Andrew. Say goodbye. Bye.
Adios, muchachos.
Bye.
Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.